Have you ever felt the weight of someone's hidden disdain lurking just beneath the surface of their polite demeanor? It's like a cold breeze that you can't quite place, a tension you can't shake off. Someone dislikes you, but they never say a word. Instead, they hide it behind a mask of civility, while their actions and behaviors subtly betray the truth. In such moments, how should we react? Should we confront them, or should we rise above it? Today, we explore the 7 signs that someone may be hiding their true feelings, and how the Stoic mindset empowers us to respond with strength and composure. Number 1. Their body language speaks volumes. There is a truth that we often overlook. Our bodies never lie. Even when words are carefully chosen, our physical actions have a language of their own, one that reveals far more than we may realize. When someone dislikes you but hides it, their body language becomes the silent confession they cannot verbalize. The way they stand, the way they move, it all conveys a message louder than any polite phrase they offer. A stiff posture, a lack of eye contact, or a smile that doesn't quite reach their eyes. These are not just coincidences. They are signs of discomfort, tension, and perhaps even hostility. It is in these subtle movements that we find the truest reflection of their feelings. They may try to engage in conversation, but you can sense a distance, a barrier they cannot quite mask. They may nod while you speak, but the hesitation in their gestures tells you they are not fully present, not truly listening. Their body recoils, as if trying to create a physical distance between you, even in the midst of words exchanged. For the Stoic, such moments are opportunities for inner strength, not emotional reaction. When faced with this unspoken rejection, it is easy to react impulsively, to feel hurt, to question your worth, or to become defensive. But a Stoic knows that these external signs hold no true power over us unless we grant them that power. Epictetus once said, "We are not disturbed by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens." Their body language is an external event, a fleeting reflection of their internal state. What matters is how we choose to interpret it, how we choose to react to it. When you recognize these signs, do not let them disturb your peace. The Stoic response is one of detachment. We acknowledge that they are communicating discomfort, but we do not internalize it. Their discomfort is theirs to bear, not ours to absorb. We do not need their validation to know our worth. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Their body language, no matter how dismissive or cold, cannot alter your sense of self unless you allow it to. In such moments, remember that your composure is your true strength. You do not need to react or engage with their discomfort. Let it pass by you unnoticed, like the wind brushing past a solid wall. Stand firm in your presence, and let them see that your worth is not determined by their behavior. You remain unshaken, unmoved, and impervious to the distractions they try to impose. By maintaining this Stoic composure, you demonstrate a strength they cannot match. Your calmness is not weakness. It is a deliberate choice to rise above the petty behaviors of others. Number 2, they are unnaturally silent when you speak. One of the most telling signs of hidden dislike is an unnatural silence when you speak. When someone has negative feelings toward you, they may not always express them in words. Instead, they opt for the silence that speaks volumes. They listen, but it's as though they are hearing you without truly hearing you. The response is lukewarm at best, and their words feel hollow, as if they are only going through the motions of communication. In a conversation, they may become inattentive or even distracted, unable or unwilling to engage in a meaningful exchange. It's a kind of emotional distance that makes you feel small, unimportant, and unseen. This silence, however, should not be taken as a reflection of your value. In fact, it is the opposite. Their refusal to engage with you fully reveals more about them than it does about you. It reveals their discomfort, their unwillingness to connect, and their inability to confront their own feelings. This is a moment when you are faced with an external challenge. How will you respond? Will you allow their silence to unsettle you, or will you maintain your dignity and composure? The Stoic response is clear. We understand that the external world, including the actions and behaviors of others, is beyond our control. As Epictetus wisely teaches, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. When faced with this unnatural silence, we must resist the urge to take it personally. The silence is not a judgment on who you are, but on their own inability to interact with you authentically. Do not internalize their lack of engagement. It is their struggle, not yours. In such situations, the Stoic is guided by one fundamental principle: to respond with composure and clarity. Do not chase after their approval, nor seek to fill the silence with meaningless words or actions. Instead, remain steady and confident in your own voice. Speak with the certainty that your thoughts and opinions have value, regardless of whether or not they are acknowledged. Remember, the opinions of others are fleeting, but your own sense of worth must remain unshaken. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. When faced with this cold indifference, do not let it erode your sense of self. Let it be a moment to practice detachment, to accept that their lack of engagement is their burden, not yours. Stand firm, speak your truth, and do not be swayed by their emotional distance. Your strength lies in your ability to remain steadfast in your own principles, no matter how others choose to react. Number 3. They are quick to dismiss your ideas. One of the most damaging signs of hidden dislike is when someone is quick to dismiss your ideas without truly considering them. This happens subtly at first. A vague, "that's not really practical," or "I don't think that will work." But over time, it becomes clear that no matter what you say, they are never truly open to your perspective. Their dismissal may come without genuine conversation, simply a superficial judgment that leaves no room for constructive dialogue. The more you speak, the more they seem to shut down, offering no space for your thoughts to breathe. This behavior is often driven by something deeper: a personal bias, an unresolved issue, or a reluctance to acknowledge your worth. When someone dislikes you but hides it, this is how they assert control, by belittling your contributions, undermining your value, and subtly indicating that your ideas don't matter. In a world that constantly tests our resolve, this can feel like a significant blow. But as Stoics, we are prepared for this. We know that other people's dismissals are not a reflection of our abilities, but of their inner limitations. The Stoic way of responding is simple, though not always easy. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, reminds us, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Their dismissal is not a personal attack on your intelligence or creativity. It is simply their inability to see the value in your thoughts. We are not here to change the minds of others. We are here to master our own reactions. When faced with this kind of disregard, it is important to remember that their judgment cannot shape your truth unless you allow it. In these moments, the Stoic focuses on maintaining inner tranquility. Rather than becoming defensive or hurt by their quick dismissal, you rise above it. Acknowledge their comment, but don't let it settle into your mind. Remain firm in the knowledge that your ideas have value, even if they cannot see it. Instead of dwelling on their negativity, use this as an opportunity to cultivate your own resilience. Responding with grace and composure in the face of dismissal only strengthens your sense of self-worth. Marcus Aurelius teaches us, don't waste time on what you can't control. Their dismissal of your ideas is outside your control, but your response, your ability to remain calm, collected, and unshaken, is entirely within your power. Don't let their limitations dictate your actions. Stand firm in the value of your thoughts, knowing that true wisdom lies not in seeking others' validation, but in trusting your own understanding. Number 4. They avoid you in group settings. In group settings, someone who dislikes you but is hiding it will often avoid you. They may steer clear of direct interactions with you, choosing to converse with others while maintaining a distance from you. You'll find them lingering in conversations where you are not present, laughing with others but never acknowledging your presence, or even subtly redirecting the conversation when it starts to include you. They might even go so far as to position themselves away from you in a physical space, ensuring there is as little direct contact as possible. This behavior is not accidental. It is a deliberate avoidance, a method of disengaging without confrontation. The message is clear. They do not wish to engage with you, yet they are unwilling to express this dislike openly. While this may seem hurtful, a Stoic knows that such avoidance is simply a reflection of their internal conflict, not a judgment on your character. It is essential not to internalize their actions, as doing so would only serve to destabilize your inner peace. As the Stoic philosophy teaches, what is up to us is our judgment, our desires, and our reactions. Their avoidance is outside your control, but how you respond to it is entirely within your power. When you notice this behavior, the Stoic response is to observe without attachment. You are not responsible for their feelings or actions. Their avoidance speaks to their inability to confront their own discomfort. It is not a reflection of your worth or value. In these moments, remember that the opinions and actions of others cannot harm you unless you allow them to. If they avoid you, let it be. Do not chase after their attention or attempt to force engagement. Instead, focus on what you can control. Your response. Remain steady in your self-assurance, confident that their avoidance has no power to affect your inner state. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be like a rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved and the raging of the water falls around it. Be that rock." Their attempts to avoid you will only pass by like a storm that does not touch the calm center of your soul. Number 5. They offer you half-hearted compliments. A person who dislikes you but hides it will often resort to offering you compliments that feel hollow, insincere, or overly general. Their praise may seem forced, as if they are simply fulfilling a social obligation, rather than offering genuine admiration. The compliments might be vague or non-specific, such as, "You did well," or "That was nice," but they lack the warmth and sincerity that would indicate true appreciation. You might sense that they're saying the words out of necessity, rather than because they truly mean them. This half-heartedness is a powerful sign of hidden dislike. While they are not openly confrontational, their compliments lack the depth that would signal true respect. It is as if they are trying to maintain a facade of politeness, but their discomfort with you prevents them from being authentic in their praise. They may want to keep things cordial, but their words betray their true feelings. As Stoics, we understand that we cannot control the thoughts, feelings, or actions of others. Their insincerity is a reflection of their internal struggle, not a reflection of our value. The Stoic response to such superficial compliments is one of equanimity. Do not allow yourself to be swayed by the shallowness of their words. Remember that your worth is not determined by the opinions or compliments of others. The wise man is indifferent to flattery or scorn because he knows that his value comes from within, not from external praise. Epictetus reminds us, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Their insincere compliments are merely external events, and they cannot disturb your inner peace unless you allow them to. Instead of seeking validation through their words, focus on the intrinsic value of your actions and achievements. Praise, when it comes, should be accepted with humility, but it should not become the foundation of your self-worth. Your self-worth is built on your principles, your integrity, and your ability to rise above the judgments of others. When you receive such compliments, acknowledge them without attachment. Thank them for their words, but do not let them influence your perception of yourself. The true Stoic does not crave recognition or approval. He is content in the knowledge that his actions, however unnoticed, are aligned with virtue. In the end, it is not the applause of others that matters, but the quiet confidence of knowing you are living in accordance with your values. Number 6, they display passive-aggressive behavior. One of the most insidious signs of hidden dislike is when someone resorts to passive-aggressive behavior. Instead of confronting you directly with their feelings, they choose to express their displeasure through subtle, indirect actions. They may offer backhanded compliments, delay or avoid communication, or offer help that feels more like a burden than a genuine offer of support. It's as if they are attempting to convey their disdain without outright confrontation, creating an undercurrent of tension that lingers beneath the surface. This type of behavior is often deeply frustrating. It's not overt hostility, but a subtle undermining of your efforts or intentions. It's as if they are playing a game, trying to provoke a reaction without ever clearly stating their true feelings. In such situations, it can be easy to feel confused, as the negative behavior is not directly expressed. But the Stoic approach teaches us that we do not need to engage with passive-aggressive tactics. We are not responsible for how others choose to express their emotions, only for how we respond. The Stoic way is to remain unaffected by such subtle attacks. Seneca taught, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Passive-aggressive behavior is nothing but a manifestation of their internal struggle, their inability to communicate directly. It is a test of our ability to maintain composure in the face of indirect hostility. Rather than allowing it to rattle us, we observe it with detachment, recognizing that their behavior does not define us. In these moments, it is vital to remain calm and measured. Do not return passive aggressiveness with more of the same. Instead, rise above it by responding with clarity and integrity. If their behavior requires a response, offer it directly and assertively, without falling into the trap of passive aggression yourself. The Stoic does not play games with emotional manipulation. He faces situations head-on, with honesty and strength. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." The true Stoic does not allow the negativity of others to shape his actions. By responding with fortitude and dignity, we maintain our inner peace and preserve our integrity. Their passive-aggressive behavior may be a reflection of their own internal conflict, but we can choose not to be dragged into that conflict. We remain anchored in our own principles, no matter how subtle or indirect their hostility may be. Number 7. They criticize you in subtle, veiled ways. A person who dislikes you but is attempting to hide it may resort to veiled criticism. This is the type of criticism that is wrapped in sugar-coated language or disguised as advice, yet it's clearly intended to undermine or belittle you. It could be a comment that seems innocent at first glance, but when you reflect on it, you realize it was a subtle jab at your abilities, your decisions, or even your character. They may say things like, "You could have done that better," or "I'm just trying to help, but that's not really how I would approach it." These criticisms are often framed as concerns, but they are loaded with passive disdain. In these moments, it is crucial to remember that the Stoic response is not to take these criticisms personally. As Marcus Aurelius wisely wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact." These comments, no matter how cleverly disguised, are opinions. They do not define your worth or your abilities. The key to handling this is to observe the criticism objectively, without allowing it to disrupt your inner peace. Understand that such veiled criticisms are more a reflection of their internal struggles and biases than a true judgment of your character or capabilities. The Stoic, in the face of such subtle attacks, remains calm and composed. Rather than engaging in a defense or responding in kind, we choose to let their words pass without absorbing them. We maintain our focus on what is within our control, our actions, our decisions, and our virtue, and we refuse to let the judgments of others, however veiled or subtle, diminish our self-worth. If you found value in these insights, don't let this moment pass. Embrace the Stoic wisdom shared today and let it guide you toward greater self-control and resilience. Remember, how others treat you does not define you. Only your response does. If you're committed to mastering your inner peace and fortitude, make sure to like this video, subscribe to The Modern Stoic for more deep insights, and share your thoughts with us in the comments. What's one lesson from today that you'll carry forward? Let's continue this conversation and keep strengthening our minds together.